What makes a good film? Every time I watch a movie I don't like or that I think is bad, I find myself wondering, what are the key ingredients that separate good movies from bad movies? What actually makes a movie good? I genuinely want a straight answer to this subjective question. Some say the key ingredients that make a movie good are when the acting, directing, writing, cinematography, and overall production value all come together to tell one cohesive, entertaining, and impactful story. In essence, a good movie uses all of these tools of filmmaking to tell a compelling story that makes you feel. That's just the short version, of course. There's so much more that goes into creating a good movie, and since certain ingredients like writing or directing can be subjective to the viewer's individual taste and opinion, separating good movies from bad ones can be complicated. However, it is impossible for a movie to be considered good without all or most of these key ingredients involved. Because film is such a collaborative medium, it requires multiple artists with various talents all working together to make one cohesive product. To answer this extremely loaded question, I refer to the screenwriter Andrew Stanton, where in his TED Talk, he says, great storytelling is similar to telling a joke.
Storytelling is joke telling. It's knowing your punchline, your ending, knowing that everything you're saying from the first sentence to the last is leading to a singular goal, and ideally confirming some truth that deepens our understandings of who we are as human beings.
As intriguing as his concept is, how does the audience come into play? To answer this, I resorted to the excerpt, What Makes a Good Film? From the American Journal of Nursing, written by Catherine Linden, who states, in screening films, therefore, whether these are documentary or teaching films, it is essential that we analyze their purpose, content, and essential contribution. Only in this way can we find which best suit our purpose. This made me think, maybe the answer lies not in the overall craft of a film, but us, the audience. I needed another film expert's inference more so from a film critic, so I turned to chapter 1 of How to Be a Film Critic in 5 Easy Lessons by Christopher K. Brooks, where he talks about a critic's reaction to Beauty and the Beast. He states, Frederick hits the positive reviewers and Del Toro directly in the cinematic solar plexus. It goes too far. That's just too unbelievable. With the real kicker, even for a fairy tale. Frederick attacks the very genre, validating Mars's given that the audience accepts the premise when they buy the ticket, but she did not buy a ticket for an irksome cock and bull story that replays the Beauty and the Beast tale one more time with a sane woman committing a totally inexplicable, unforeseeable, unfathomable, insane act. This statement helped me differentiate reception between a professional film critic and a casual audience. But at the time, I was interested in the reception of critic audiences. I decided to traverse through Statista, where I found a bar graph which counted the number of wins in the film categories at the Critics' Choice Awards in 2022 by Movie Distributor, where surprisingly the most wins happened to be Disney, with 5 wins in the category. Was this it? Did Disney really have the answer to making great films? I went on to get an answer from Andy Redwine and Larry Brenner in their podcast, Once Upon a Disney, from their episode on Monsters, Inc., where they spoke on the film's overall craft, such as its character and world building.
There's so much visual, interesting things happening that
Yes.
even like little sight gags of like gelatinous guy who falls through the sewer grate. There's just so much eye candy. The gigantic, enormous guy who we never see again with just the giant foot. We never see a monster that big again, but we have a good time just seeing his foot for a little bit.
So what makes a good film? It is the writing, Is it the story? Is it its greatness reliant on critic or general audiences? I think it's up to the audience to answer that. I think what everyone should do is rewatch their favorite films and think and decide not just why they like the movie, but why is it their favorite? After my research, I think I'll refer to my favorite directors and see what their definition of a great film is. As a future screenwriter, I feel as if my research will change my perspective on how to write my screenplays and take more things into consideration, such as writing for an audience or even taking tips from Disney.